Or it used to be. There was a time when it was good shit. Shit, no, I had it and I lost it again. Sorry, guys. Never mind.
I was just saying, I would die on the holodeck. That's all.
That's what it was, holodeck. I would fucking dismantle my holodeck. Those things are a goddamn liability. How many times do they create sentient monsters that run around on the ship? Like,
it would take the times. First time. 0 times.
Come on. Come on.
Name
no.
one. And I will immediately...
Moriarty?
He didn't run around on the ship. He literally never got off the holodeck. Boom! In your face.
Oh, God.
Not a single...
Every holodeck episode...
Not
okay,
a
maybe
single,
not run around.
Yeah, not a single holodeck monster has ever gotten off of the holodeck.
No, wait, that's not true either. He does run around on the ship.
Nope.
I think it's Moriarty gets out of the holodeck.
Not once does he get off the holodeck. In fact, that's how they trick him, by making him believe he's gotten off the holodeck.
No, that's true.
That's why they have him in a little cube. His little miniature holodeck cube.
Right.
So,
well,
I've got infinite knowledge. The Hirogen made entire holographic ships. Or forced the Voyager crew to put holograph technology up and down their hallways so they can hunt them. That's what the Hirogen are. They're like hunters in space. They're like, oh, cool, you guys.
That is a funny and unique way of like saying of using the holodeck kind of technology. Well,
yeah, right.
We'll get really bored if we're just not constantly hunting as a species. So on our spaceship, we're going to holographically hunt things all the time just to get it out of our system.
Well, no. The point was that they're an entire hunter society, and they're dying off because they are dying to the things that they're hunting. So
that is very funny.
So they discover the holographic technology from Voyager, and they like build these domes where they can hunt things and not die. But it turns out backwards on them because they're hunters, so that they get rid of the safety settings, and now the holograms are killing them.
You just can't win with those guys, can you?
Yeah. Well, there's also the fact that they're Nazis. And I don't mean like actual... Sort of. When they take over Voyager and do the whole hunting them thing, the simulation they go for is World War II France. And they dress themselves up as the Nazis, so they are.
That's always a good sign.
On one hand, they don't have the knowledge of the perspective of the species that they're taking over at the same time. So, did they just put themselves in Nazi uniforms because the Nazis are in charge? Or it's like they did put themselves in Nazi uniforms, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think blunder or not, it's not a good look.
Actually, you'd have to argue that it is a good look, not for being a Nazi, but only because Hugo Boss, the designer of every Nazi uniform ever made, was basically the best outfit designer of his entire generation.
You could make that argument. I don't see it, though. Maybe not for me.
Compare it to any other uniform of any other country of the era.
Wow. I'm not a big... That's not really my area either, I suppose. Let's see. Not a historian, not a military fashion historian.
I'm just saying, from the fashion perspective, you have to admit, it's a bit on point.
Okay.
You can't just say that those uniforms were evil. The uniforms did nothing wrong. The people in them did something wrong.
Sure. Yeah. I feel like maybe this is chicken or an egg type situation. I do feel like the Nazi...
Red, I don't think the uniforms made them evil.
That iconography has now been co-opted.
Telling you what they are.
I do like your fan fiction that Hugo Boss was an evil wizard who enchanted all of his uniforms to make everybody who wore them evil, like some sort of gold sarcophagus. But I don't think that's going to fly as the next young adult fiction series.
You are getting far ahead of me, but okay. I'm just pointing out that, like, whatever those uniforms represented before you put Nazis in them, that look has now been adopted as shorthand for evil fascist organization in all media across the world. So, like, we can say it has been tainted, at least somewhat. And I don't know if that's because of the historical implications or because that look is just very, very fucking severe and scary looking.
Well, it's tied
I
to
don't know.
fascism as hard as the icons that symbolized it did. So
Yeah.
it's hard to separate the two ever again. The Russian uniform set, the Nazi German uniform set. It's
That's
all
true.
in one.
Speaking of, this is my Kerbal Space Program flag. I'll put it in Discord.
Oh.
Speaking of fascism, look at this flag I made.
Oh, I hate the previews in Discord.
Spaceship.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Okay. Well then, you guys want to play Ironclaw?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I'd have to talk about the hologram for 3 more hours.
Oh, I mean, we could. The Doctor is probably my favorite Star
Let me
Trek
break down to you
character.
my perfect hologram date.
Yeah.
I'm now imagining my doctor here on the
They're not 100% dissimilar, but yeah, no.
Yeah, balding.
Doctor's the way to go.
Can't get a date.
Imagine being a hologram, but someone programs you to be balding.
No name.
Well, I mean, he's based on his creator, and his creator was balding, so.
Yeah. Zimmerman.
Yep.
One of the few people who called the Doctor Zimmerman because I thought that was a fine name, and then like no one decided that was they're just gonna call him the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he
No
hasn't come
name
up with
for
his
the
own
Doctor.
name yet.
I guess,
Apparently,
right?
he only ever comes up with a name for himself in the, like, when they reach Earth. And nobody likes that name, so.
Yeah, right, yeah. Okay, so I'm ready to go. You tell me when we're live if we're not live yet.
We've been live since halfway through the holodeck.
Gotcha. In that case, there's nothing left to do but to start the introduction. So, let's begin. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and for listening to us talk about Star Trek for a while. But we're here to play an Ironclaw game, The Shade's Tale. This is a 2nd edition Ironclaw game. I'm Red. I'm going to be your game host today. We're still shy 1 Rafferty, but we're going to carry on. And we're going to do what we normally do, which is go over the recap of last session, and then introduce our characters, and then roll some dice, and then go home. We are home, but, go do other things. I assume, I suppose, but... let's see. I should probably pull up my recap notes. Okay, recap. So, last session, the group had divided. Adris went to White Ridge and learns that Calpurnia, the Red Fox, the sadistic investigator from Three Corners Fort, had come and captured the Children of the Shade, and also negotiated a deal with the Baron, Meldgard, which promised him partial ownership of Three Corners in exchange for his fool, the Grey Fox called Twitch. The Baron asks Adris to deliver a boon or a gift, I suppose, to Lord the Baron Ashton, in Bisclavret, who had lent some troops after Adris had negotiated with him earlier in the campaign. The party reunites at Ripe Dow's home, where they decide their best course of action is to head to the final necromantic circle. Ripe Dow cooks them a meal, and as they rest for the night, they find that the meal was poisoned, and they woke up immobilized by pain. Ripe Dao has taken Potter hostage. It's revealed that Dao was being puppeteered by the Lady Amelsand. She tells Connor that she relishes in his pain. It's become personal. All of his, him and his crew have meddled with her affairs for the last time, and she is going to kill something that matters to him. She also informs them that the Bisclavret fleet has made it to the Avoirdupois shores and that his family likely lies dead in Fermarouge. The party overcomes their poisoning, manages to kill the puppeteer Dao, and saves Potter's life. It helps to have a full-time sainted white mage on duty. At which point the party decides they're going to split up. The Doctor and Adris have decided to head west towards the final necromantic circle. But Connor and Anushka, we assume, have decided to go east and try to defend Fermarouge from the invasion. Adris and the Doctor stop by the Baron Ashton's fort, where they find Calpurnia, the Red Fox, and her retinue have also made camp there. Her prisoners are being held in the dungeon. Adris delivers Melgard's gift and has a conversation with Calpurnia, where he gets her to sort of confess to her plans. She's going to deliver the children and Twitch to Amelsand in we're calling it the Mere Forest? The Moire Forest? I like Mere Forest. So, yes, and then he seduces her. So even though she was planning to leave that within the hour, they stick around for the night. So while that is going on, the Doctor meets up with Colette, learns of the Children of the Shade captives, organizes a jailbreak with the help of his Chroma bandits buddies, and they are successful in breaking out the Children of the Shade, but not in breaking out Twitch as well. So Twitch is still imprisoned in the Baron Ashton's fort. And Garbage Day just showed up, so I'm going to run around closing windows. But while I do that, why don't you guys go ahead? We'll start with Ark. Ark, introduce your character.
Hello, I am Ark Lloyd. I play Connor Lavere de Acravis, the Brazen Raccoon Knight. His motto is one hand washes the other.
All right, and then joining us, we also have Griff.
Hey, that's right, I'm Griffin. I'm playing the anonymous Armadillo Almoner, known as the Doctor. His motto is first do no harm, second get paid.
Okay, and we're also joined by Theta.
Adris Gar, man of many hats. Also a gorilla, I guess.
Also a gorilla, we guess. Okay, so, like we said, we kind of divided up the party, and we're still missing Rafferty, so we're probably going to focus on the crew that is headed west today. I'm going to try to give Ark NPCs to pilot as we go so that he's not sitting out the whole time. But yeah, we're going to work with what we have here. This is why we say don't split the party, but we're all in the same boat here, and I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense to do it this way, so.
Sorry, the voice in my head was like, okay, now Ark is going to play some of these characters. So, Adris, you roll over after you're done post-coitus.
Oh, God.
Arcloid, what is the characters?
Gross. Yeah. No, so, but we might as well pick it up there, right? Because,
Yeah, we got 3 different points to pick up on here.
Right. Most immediately where we left off, you guys had staged a jailbreak. And as the morning dawns, this is going to, we're going to say, really, really piss off our new friend, Calpurnia. So yeah, we'll start there. There is a large to-do. Gar, you're probably in attendance when when Calpurnia's men knock loudly at the door. The sun has yet to rise, so it's still the pre-dawn hours. and the news is delivered. There was a jailbreak. The Baron's cells have been opened, and the notorious criminals, the Children of the Shade, have been broken out. Calpurnia, it almost seems as if her fur turns to a darker shade of red. You can see her vibrating with anger, and I don't know. I think she throws a table or something. She says in a low tone that she wants all of her men, everyone in attendance gathered at the jail cell. She's going to double the guard around Twitch, her remaining captive, and she wants to speak with the Baron himself. Wake him if they must, but she needs to have a word.
I think you need to calm down.
Ooh, she wheels on you, Adris. She says, calm.
You still have everything you desire. You hold the sword, do you not? Do you think those idiots are gonna let go the sword? Wherever you go, they'll sure to be followed, whether you have them in chains or not. So, they're still at your mercy. If you continue on the path you were heading, surely they will meet you there. This is just a dalliance in your plan. Hardly even a bother.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that logic is rather undeniable. She's still angry, but you have effectively diffused her somewhat, we'll say. You can see that, fur smooths out a little bit. She gets control of her breathing. She says, you raise a fair point. However, it can't be overlooked that this would not have happened if I had stuck to my intended schedule. She fixes a scrutinizing look onto you, Adris. She says,
I think it was worth it.
Damn, he's charming.
I'd also posit that perhaps now their egos will be inflated by this perceived success, and the chances of them making a further mistake in their own whatever they believe their goal is to be has increased, in which case it'll be easier to catch them off guard. I would suggest perhaps not making a less of an ally of the Baron at this juncture by grilling him over his obvious failures and simply move on further into Bisclave territory with an ally at our back rather than a soon-to-be enemy at our rear.
Okay, this is a very compelling argument. So we're going to metagame it because I don't know how to express all of this in RP right now. But basically, her initial reaction to all of these events is to bully the Baron into giving her more men, doubling the guard, and also basically scouring the forest for the Chroma bandits. Because you make a very good argument. She's not the kind of person who sees any deviation from her plans as failure and does not suffer failure, right? This is a huge blow to her pride. But that's a very good point. So let's make a roll for it to see whether or not she is going to hold the Baron accountable to try to use her. Also, technically, she. Actually, I don't know if this is if she technically outranks him. I feel like she should kind of be an attendant to the crown. Well, yeah, he's a landowner for an archduke, but she's subservient to the.
It follows the argument
king.
we previously had about nobility in regions, right? Technically, I'm a noble, right? But we're in Bisclave territory, where it's all dependent on how much they wish to believe that they're independent or not.
True.
They've all bent the knee a long time ago to the Rinaldi kings, but at the same time believe that their own nation states are... Sorry, my brain just stopped. That's all the cleverness you're getting today.
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, they believe that their own nation states are basically... Well, I mean, to be fair, they're larger and they have bigger standing armies, and ultimately, like, if it was going to come down to it, they would probably side with their own kings over the Rinaldi king.
Well, I'm just saying that this is the same reason why I can't tap nobility in the Doloro territory. Should be also the same reason why her weight here can't really be her nobility. It has to be how she uses it.
Well, I think it's one thing to say, like, when it comes down to acts of war and violence, it's another thing to be, like, diplomatic, right? In a case where it's like, hey, you obviously fucked up. I was trusting my prisoners to your care, and we are allies, so it's kind of on you to make this right, especially since technically I outrank you. That's the kind of thing where... again, it's up to the individual.
He's a baron, but we're both minor families.
Oh yeah, well, I'm talking about the relationship between Ashton and Calpurnia, not necessarily between Ashton and you.
No, I was saying that, well, the way it was described last session, she's basically on par with me. Well, I don't know. I already revealed the whole that I'm up there in the minor family stature, but she's a minor house, I'm a minor house. So even then, our representation of ability to push authority is relegated to minor house, even amongst the Rinaldi, versus a foreign powers nobility structure.
Yeah, but, I mean, there is... I think if... Well, so there's another dimension to this too, though. I feel like it's heavily implied in the book that the reason that the Rinaldi get even the lip service that they do is because they hold Triskellion, which is kind of like the center of all commerce in the land. Like, it's now in the book, Triskellion is run by a guild of free merchants, essentially, which would further diminish the whatever power the King Rinaldi was holding. But in this dark dystopian timeline, I feel like at this point the Jakoba have taken over that that they control the commerce with kind of an iron fist. We haven't seen much of it because we've kind of been avoiding Triskellion for the past...
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to reduce the authority of Triskellion and the Rinaldi territories. I'm just saying that previously in gameplay, in foreign territories, noble influence has not been one that's easily tapped for any reason.
Yeah, no, I know. But...
So I have to argue that in a game where NPCs have to follow the same rules that we do, that it's not so much that she is a noble, it's how she uses it.
Yeah. Well, there's also a difference between noble authority and legal authority.
Right, but we've also already covered that legal authority is a very small section of each one of these squares. That you don't have legal authority everywhere. You have legal authority in specific places.
Well, if there was anyone who was going to have legal authority anywhere, it would be someone working for the king. Like the capital K king. I mean, like, I don't know. I understand if there's a question about how this translates back into the game's mechanics, but to me it would make perfect sense. And not necessarily that she would automatically get what she wants, but that she would have an argument to make towards this baron. Like, if you look at at least how it's listed on the chart, right?
In fairness, I did forget that she was Della Vega's replacement, and I don't know
Yeah. what
what Della Vega had power-wise. He just appeared. Well, I guess he didn't have total power because he appeared in the Avattoir territory and cowtailed to them a bit.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, far from home with limited backup, I think, like, what is extraditing a a wanted criminal from foreign lands is one thing, but in that case, it's like that's like a police action on foreign soil. That's apt to piss a lot of people off.
Well, extradition requires the acceptance of the foreign power itself.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about kidnapping.
What's the core thing happening here? Just if or if not, she can actually get help from the Baron.
Well, right now it's if she's even going to try.
I'm just establishing the
How much
basic
does the
precepts.
Baron actually like her? How much do the two actually get along on any level?
Oh, probably on a perfunctory level. I mean, the Baron Ashton.
There's not quite
you
a
guys
lot
have
to work with then.
Well, yeah, what you've seen so far, right, is that he's a fairly easygoing individual. He's sitting pretty in his fort. He's agreed to send men to help the Doloro. If it hasn't been stated yet, the Bisclavre and Triskellion have been working together. You guys saw that they were trading in weapons. The Bisclavre fleet would need Triskellion acceptance to make it around, for their fleet to make it around the southern part of the island. Like, they're basically working together. They're on good terms right now.
Right.
So,
but personally, between these two characters, then, so there's three things.
Mhm.
How much they personally like each other, which is apparently not really. They barely have a word in with each other. How much actual authority this character has to order them around, which is apparently under question for multiple reasons. And the third is, like, if or if not, it would be treasonous for him to not do so because of the power of Triskellion itself behind her as an eventual consequence, which is a question of what's the bare minimum he has to do to get out of this?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. I think that in this situation, if you were, I don't know what the greatest metaphor is, but basically, like, if you're working IT and you took a job, like, on securing someone's computer, right? And that computer gets hacked, and they come to you saying, like, well, you're my security tech, so this is kind of on you. Yeah, you could deny it, and you could say, oh, well, there's a lot of reasons why this isn't on me. But that's going to make you look like, and you could be right, but it's going to make you look
the Baron
bad.
should be going, I have just experienced the prison break. I should do something about my prisoners, and that's on his own initiative. Whatever he would normally do in these scenarios. Which he's also gone to the lengths of deciding that he wants to just go and bully refugees. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I think your example would be more parent company and subsidiary companies, because your security company probably has an IT company and not an IT department, only because in your example Triskellion would be the parent company, and these are autonomous nations, which would then have to be other companies in the example.
I think that fits probably better, more one-to-one.
So
I think
your umbrella corporations.
Yeah, but the ultimate point that I'm trying to make there is that at the end of the day, blame is being tossed around, and rank is going to factor into it to some degree, and perception of guilt is also going to factor into it. So there's a lot of dimensions here.
The ego's involved too. How many hours do they spend just arguing?
I'm just saying, now that I'm done arguing against nobility, I'm also going to throw out there that as strong as you make nobility, that's as much as I have authority.
Yeah. And again, no one's casting any kind of blame at you right now. So
of course
that's why I don't
give it
think
a perfect argument back.
Yeah, I think that's why.
I probably haven't even gotten dressed.
Probably not. So the role that I was going to ask for is for you to convince her that it's better to accept this minor loss and not make a big deal out of it and just go on her way versus her making a big deal out of it.
That's the trick, right? Make it look like it was all part of your plan.
Right. Yes. Which I think is very compelling. Like, if it wasn't such a compelling argument, I wouldn't be asking for this role. But I don't know if it's going to work or not. But let's find out. We're going to roll dice and we're going to find out. Let me pull up there we go. Bam. Okay. This seems like a perfect use for negotiation. It seemed like a well-reasoned argument, so I would say mind in negotiation. And I'll give you a bonus D8 because I think it's a good argument.
Here's an awkward question.
Yeah.
Does seduction still work post-coitus?
I will, you know what? Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and keep that for now?
And since we're using negotiation, diplomacy, or fast talking, it doesn't matter. It's just a bonus D12 either way.
You already have everything you want, Gar says, his hands on his hips.
Camera oddly posed between the legs from behind, but facing the woman.
I like it. Okay. She's rolling 2d10.
I have not rolled well.
You did get a 9. Let's see what happens. Ugh. Okay. And there's the outlier.
You know what? I'll throw in my personality, just because.
You're going for it? Okay.
I mean, it's not a very high chance, but I really, really liked that argument.
This is a good argument.
Yeah, do I have anything else? Why did I never take luck? Nobility? Staff nobility for a D12?
Yeah, but she could
also seducing.
Yeah, here's the thing
Yeah.
though. If there was she could also use hers. I don't know how many ranks does she have, because we know how many ranks I have.
Right. I think that you probably have more ranks in nobility. She has ranks in legal authority.
Right, so what if I was to tap a bunch of nobilities, enough to overwhelm hers, and use it as a form of my experience in the world of nobility? And you just tell me how many to tap.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it will give you... and that's, I guess, if you do that... Yeah, okay. I'd say if you want to tap 3 nobilities, then you can just, override her argument.
Done.
Okay. Alright, so you appeal to her with your understanding of, like, noble politics and this, like, how it's important to be diplomatic and how wounding someone's pride in this case can lead to unforeseen consequences, especially as she ventures further into Bisclavre land. And all of this seems to land. She is quite more intelligent than the Baron Meldgard, who you have been dealing with, and she is not immune to reason. So she ultimately says, I suppose you're right. This does not change things in any meaningful way. I still can complete my mission. So she calls her man back. She says, the Baron must be informed of what took place in his jail cell. We will be taking our leave at first light, so get the troops together. And I still want no one, the fox, don't let... I want our men's eyes on him at all time. Make sure that he is not left alone for even a moment, or it will be your hide, and the soldier will The dog soldier from Triskellion will bow and scurry out hurriedly. Okay. In the meantime, it's from what I remember, the children escaped with the children escaped with. Sorry, that is a great gif. Who was that? Ark. Okay. Yeah, the Chroma bandits. I assume they fled back into the territory of the Chroma bandits into the woods to the south east.
Right. And I could maybe try to convince them, it's like, hey, you want to go on a dangerous expedition after a necromancer, which everyone will certainly die? Nah, go back home.
I mean, you could try.
I pulled enough strings, I had them take over a fort. I could try, but I'm not sure there's a lot that they'll actually get done doing this. Gar's minions also serve a lot of the same purpose.
That's very true. If you
So it is a case of like putting them further into danger after rescuing the Children of the Shades. No, Children of the Shades, just go hang out with the Chroma Bandits. And
Do you
that's a
think
big
they
enough
will?
ask. It at least solves the problem at hand, and the doctor can keep running away.
Okay. Okay, cool. So after the jailbreak, we'll say there's probably like 30 minutes of alarms being raised and, you know, troops being mobilized and an investigation of the scene, and people are sent out beyond the wall to try to track and chase down the bandits. But the bandits are pretty damn good. They know this region, so they're going to get away. And an hour later, they come knocking at your door. Well, they come knocking at Colette's door, probably. Do you have an alibi for your activities that night?
Do I? Well, obviously, I was deep in prayer. Look, I have this nice book.
Okay, all right. You know, why don't you give me a roll as well?
Okay.
It will be deception, because you're being deceptive. Or
That
deceit, I guess, is the
true.
skill.
I was trying to see if in my brain if I could wiggle negotiation anywhere in here. Not sure it applies, because that would be like, well, I'm giving you the bribe or something.
Yeah, I feel like you can't pull that without admitting to some kind of shady activity, and that might be dangerous in this circumstance.
Yeah, it's hard to do, like, genuine, like, yes, of course I pray at them. So, yeah, I guess just a seat. Is there anything good I have on top of this? Etiquette, low profile, that's for blending in.
Yeah, you gotta lie to the cop. You
Deceive
negotiate with the
others
judge.
that I'm an unimportant bystander.
Low profile, that could work.
I think that probably works in this scenario when I'm being questioned amongst many people being questioned. So let's do it.
Okay.
Deceit and what? Mind, will?
I think mind. Well, it depends. You're just saying. I think will. Will, in this case, you're trying to sell it. You're just trying to be like, I don't know what you mean, officer.
So are you forcefully
Ooh.
pushing your lies, or are you cleverly
shit.
pushing your lies?
This is that's some absolutely terrible D12 rolls right there.
Those some bad D12s, and they're rolling D6s, so this could go badly for you.
2 out of 3.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Now I need to go ahead and see if I got anything else I can tap here.
Well, before you tap anything else, I will say that you do have the lady Colette vouching for you, and she's known around these parts, so you could take a D12 for that.
Okay, she's a team player. Hey,
There you
Colette
go.
bails
Just
me out.
barely. There's some
Perfect.
real, as these wolves are like scrutinizing you and checking your story.
She's
Colette
like,
is going
have you
to
done your prayers today?
exactly. She's gonna scold them like a Sunday school teacher, and this is, you can see that they still have suspicions about you, but they're effectively driven off by Colette, but just barely. She lets out a little sigh and looks at you and says, "That was close. I suggest you do not tarry here much longer."
Oh no, I intend to get my bundle here together, and perhaps leave a word with Gar's men. Head straight to Harrogate, and then onwards to where I need to be.
Being this close to the border territories, I can tell you that, having seen those who have come to call on the Baron, the Bisclavais have certainly made arrangements with the Jakoba Rinaldi.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just urge you all to be careful. If you plan to stay in Harrogate, Connor is still quite wanted in those parts, and all of you by association. Although I guess now that I'm saying it out loud, Connor's not with you guys, so your chances of being caught go down considerably.
I don't think we ever did anything in Harrogate that they would want us for, except for when we had our little fighter with us.
Damn, fighting man.
They put it on you to get him, or you'd be in trouble. And that was
exactly
a long time ago. So that was a minor thing.
Gate guards recognize the one armadillo priest coming through.
Yeah, they didn't even pass that shit up. They didn't pass that shit up either. That was just those two guys. So
are they all on duty today?
That was a long time ago. They might not even be working.
Exactly. So
anymore.
You're probably doing pretty well. You got a pretty good shot of getting into Harrogate without too much trouble.
Those guys might be dead.
Hold on, let's see if Colette has anything else to say.
Yeah.
They might be dead.
It was a long time ago. They're gate guards. Somebody could have shipped them. Literally, you piss somebody off.
Or they could have gotten a promotion, and now, more than ever, they want Dan's blood.
Again, it's not... They put you guys in charge of handling Dan, and if you guys didn't come back, Dan got away, and they're like, "Hey, we know you're associated, and we have you here." I have an uncanny ability to get you people in trouble for shit that I do.
Naturally, though, Gar would not be associated with this at all, so he's got free reign to just waddle through.
Yeah, that's why I try to keep my distance from the party.
Politically neutral. Okay.
Right. So nothing more for Colette, in which case it's just going to be dear departing. It's like, if I don't return, the worst may have happened. You must tell others. Hear my story.
She does have some more information to tell you. She has been keeping, asking around, following the gossip as travelers come to and from the fort. Apparently there are, in Harrogate, there are rumors that something has befallen various communities in the Mere Forest. This is still technically the domain of various Bisclavais lords, and so many of them have been... so the word has come down that they have sent in hunters, or in... what do they call them too? Inquisitors... spies, essentially, to try to determine the source of all of this, of these rumors. And apparently there is something dangerous. Many of these men have been lost as they have gone into the forest to investigate. But indeed, they can confirm that there are small folk, villagers who have gone disappearing in the region. And the general discontent and fear of the villagers is growing by the day. So she asks you if you believe that this could be related to the necromantic circle, and urges you to take care. Asks you if perhaps maybe you've done enough for Calabria, if it is necessary for you to go. She has a bad foreboding sensation that if you go to this final quest that you may not return.
It is true, it'll be dangerous, and I have neither Connor nor Agnushka at my side as the most skilled swordsman on this entire island. But if I were to leave them as they were, I've seen what they've done before out in the west of Triskellion. They've taken over villages, they slaughter them one at a time, and sow fear everywhere. They filled the entire area with the haunting dead. It would be a disaster beyond proportion. And the mastermind themselves has said that they will be there in their vainglory. If ever there was a time to put an end to this and make sure it never happens again, then now would be this time.
Okay. Well, you can see that her she's conflicted between her her concern for you and her concern for basically the whole land. She says that she has been conducting more independent research on her own concerning these circles and the and their origin, right? She's been sending letters to the Palaginesi, and we determine who it was. I know at one point you guys did some library research somewhere where they had kept sacred texts.
I think I was back in Honnet.
In Honnet, yeah. So maybe
Harmony,
she's been.
Actually.
So maybe while you guys were gallivanting through the Rothos Mountains, she was sending correspondence back and forth, and using what clout she has remaining in these places to conduct some research. Right. But yes, so she tells you that mostly what she's uncovered are confirmed suspicions that you have already had, that these things are very old and that this happens cyclically, but that there is mention of a great and horrible necromancer who went by the name Agamemnon, and this individual was not there for the origination of these cycles, but was possibly the orchestrator of the last round over a century ago. And that he had made several curses or foreboding statements that were transcribed in forbidden texts within the these holy libraries, where he makes premonitions of returning and bringing an eternal night to the land. She says it sounds like scary stories. However, so far, all of the most horrible rumors of these locations have been true. And if this one is, then it is an existential threat to all who live in Calabria.
So you actually had people look into the forbidden sections, which I wasn't allowed into when I was there. I feel deeply humiliated now, but...
Well, when you are the abbess for a decade or so, you make a lot of friends and you meet a lot of people, and eventually a lot of them owe you favors, so...
Very true. But,
the perks of having a name, Doctor.
I'll have to give myself one of these days. But... of importance here, so I have no doubt that the Almosand is interested in following in Agamemnon's footsteps. If there was any story of what he did over in the Muir Forest, what his plan was, how it was structured, or what the region around this epicenter was like, certainly that would help us as we head out into the forest to confront it.
Indeed, and I regret that I do not have more information to share with you. I have not minded my tenure here. However, it does not afford me much opportunity to, conduct my own research. outside of, correspondence and letter carriers.
Of course.
It's possible, if you could gain access to the if you could gain access to the I guess the holy libraries in Shalon.
That's
think
quite a bit
Shalon is
away. At this
it-
point, I think that's beyond consideration.
Yes, it is, and time is of the essence. Unfortunately, it's the one area of where her clout does not really extend. There's probably more information in there, but yes, it is not
Mhm.
an effective use of time, most likely.
Hmm. Now, the only thing then left to consider is if all the loose ends have been tied. As you were saying, these are the lands of other barons and other nobility, and they too are concerned and have sent spies to investigate what's happening. If they don't know what's happening, is it perhaps possible that they haven't already been involved in whatever this wicked plot is? That perhaps they could be rallied to defend their own lands in some way.
Hi, cat.
Giddy.
Sorry, I'm being boarded. Oh yeah, hurts so good.
Yeah, so I guess this would be a more directed question towards Roulette. Like, what do you know about the
Yeah.
communities there and the people who rule them?
Well, from what I've heard, there is much concern surrounding this. However, Bisclavre, well, rumors are scant, but it seems that they are also joining the war effort in some way, and so most of the leadership is focused on either the supply or the movements of their armies. I suppose you could ask them, and she'll tell you of one baron in the region that who seems to be dealing with this directly.
Mhm.
Who needs a name? So
Something to pass along to Gar right there.
yeah, let's see. My fatal flaw: not having my name generator open at all times. I should just make it my homepage.
Oh, yep. Not going to use the built one.
I suppose. I feel like a lot of these names are thug names, but well,
No, they're literally of the 10, no, 20 plus thousand names. I'm not talking about the generic one. I'm talking about the token number one.
yeah, I'm looking at it. Latharna.
Well, maybe that's what the servant staff nicknamed them. Surly.
Surly Latharna. I mean, that kind of works, I think, if you're going to be... Yeah.
Because
I'm not opposed to that.
the tag things on the other side are just random, but the names themselves are... Again, the
Of
list
course,
is...
it would be Baroness Latharna here, but everyone just says they're Surly.
Well, it would be Lady Latharna.
Yeah, lady.
Which is
Marquis.
also a random thing that can come up. Well, there's titles of nobility and whatever you call the equivalency for the church and everything that also can appear in there. It's just so small of a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, titles. But technically, even Surly has a very small chance.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do one more thing here because...
It's all good.
You know, just while you're doing that, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy this. Just so it makes it into one of these videos. Look at that. Boom. Changes
Boom.
every time.
Gasp.
We never use them, but I did make them.
I do like them.
The face.
What did we get?
The moon touched.
Okay. Lady
The
Latharna,
biddies.
the Cat Baroness. The biddy. What does that even mean?
It means give us your bits on Twitch.
Okay.
All right. So you're putting down information there, and
Yeah.
that is at least the lead that we need before, I suppose, concluding with Colette and the doctor attempting to reconvene with Gar's group, hiding amongst them until Gar's business is done to head out towards Harrogate, essentially.
Yeah.
Because we do have to cross the river first, and there is a convenient bridge right there before heading into the forest.
Right? Yeah.
Because remember that Harrogate itself is north of the actual crossing of the river. Because Harrogate is on the shores of Lake whatever. And that the actual road goes south of Harrogate.
Yeah, it'll still take us at least 4 days, and more if it's forest terrain, so...
It seems to be open plains.
I am.
I mean, the
Sorry.
forest. There's actually a forest there, but the area surrounding the river is plains.
Mm-hmm. In terms of just organization now, we at least know Gar is slightly busy and will eventually leave. The doctor's gonna leave. I guess that just kind of leaves, like, so what's Connor up to? Because he has to make this whole trek all the way across.
Before you answer, Mark Lloyd, do we want to hold the Connor stuff for when Raph's there with him?
I'd
Well,
rather hold
because-
Raph since he's half of the party.
Well, you do have to get there first.
Oh no, I thought that was the point, was that we were holding off on the Connor Raph stuff so that they would be together for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, as much as we're saying, like, this is maybe the final session,
This isn't,
it's gonna take us a bit to get there.
This isn't the final...
This isn't going to be...
Their side would be the final session if we do the wrap-up in the two-part thing.
Right.
I'm
so
trying
what
to...
we can do is we can set up for these things and have him at least travel there so that the has all that considered.
Well, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to keep the Raph and Connor party as that part of that session, too.
Mm-hmm.
Unless... Okay, this is a conversation between two players. Unless, points to GM, GM had planned for that.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to peek behind the kimono, I'm just...
No, because kimono covers the private bits.
That's the exact... Yeah. Well, that's where we're at. I mean, there's kind of like your set-piece encounters, and we've got at least 2 of them, considering that we're kind of going in 2 separate directions. So I'm prepared for that, and I'm prepared to, like, get us there. But having split the party means we are going to be kind of drawing this out a little bit. I'm in no rush to... Yeah, I'm in no rush, so
right, just
I don't mind
to
this.
deny Rafferty anything that he might bring up, do or say conversationally, actionably, etc., on the path there, that he would be denied by doing it now in the session where Connor and party aren't doing anything else. That's my hold-up on the matter.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of coming in today when Rafferty wouldn't be here, was to handle the split of the party that didn't involve Rafferty.
So I'm fine just playing NPCs on your side and waiting for Raph to come by next week.
Yeah, you can take control of all of my guys if you want.
So what's the next step, Red?
Well, I was also going to offer, as part of this conversation with the doctor, you guys probably maybe don't remember, but the Colette was staying here as a religious teacher to the captain of the guard for Baron Ashton, a rabbit woman named Lily. I don't remember if she had an adjective, but she probably did. But I don't remember what it is. But yes, Lily is a... Let's see. I was looking probably just soldier,
Right.
or maybe a knight errant. There might be a better fitting one in the other career section, but but she's basically a D8 soldier who now also has some white magic gifts. So, Connor, I don't know if you wanted to play that character. That's also an option. Colette might insist that she comes along for the protection of the group.
Right. If she's willing to abandon her post for a while to go on this quest with us, then that would be interesting.
Right, that might be better for me to handle one unfamiliar NPC than several.
Yeah. So we'll go have the conversation with Lily. It's like, you've been keeping up with your studies. This is so great. And invite her along.
Okay. And she would accept because she sees it as her duty, and maybe also she's excited to have these new skills that she has acquired be put to good use, because it's been pretty quiet here. Outside of hunting bandits, there has not been a lot for them to do. And hunting bandits and evicting Doloro refugees, which doesn't usually require much actual force, just being generally scary.
I feel I must interject in the logical loophole that's now been presented to us. If Arkloyd is now going to be playing Lily, Connor, is Lily coming with us?
I mean, wouldn't want to remove your agency.
Because now he's presented with the option of yes or no.
It would be pretty
figured
funny
that
to be
the
like,
NPC's moral and ethical and logical choices would be made by the host until I just need to play the character in possible combat. I don't want to play a character whose motivations and whatnot I don't know, and I don't want to go against what Red would want for the NPC.
No, I don't. It's just the funny implication that now you're presented with your first choice. Start the adventure or no?
Well, we'll go ahead and assume that if you had decided not to play this character, that would be her deciding not to join you. But as long as you want to play her, then yes, she is game. Okay. It would be funny to be like, yes, I will take this character. My first act as this character is to say that she does not wish to partake in this, because then you would go right back to being a nobody.
It's that very first Ultima game, that Ultima Zero that I can't remember the name of, that says, do you want to go on the adventure, yes or no? And the game shit quits if you hit no.
I think there was a Far Cry game where you could just refuse to start it and just sit at the table and wait.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So we have a brand new friend come along with us, Lily, and heading to the Muir Forest. Or at least, I suppose, Gar, you've wrapped up everything, and eventually you'll come and collect your minions, right?
Well, this is curious too.
We need to figure out where you are temporally, get you in on this.
Temporally,
the Doctor's already made all of his time.
I mean, temporally, I'm in the present. Where are you temporally?
Well,
we're talking.
He might actually be in the future. We'll see.
We'll see. I don't know if this was stated or not. I feel like at one point there was a plan to try to insinuate yourself into Calpurnia's entourage. Is that still going on? Are you going to try to travel with them?
Calpurnia. That was my plan.
That was your plan. Okay. You're going to meet resistance at. She's going to say, "Listen, it was fun, but now this is business. You are truly a nobleman, but this is the king's business, and
But don't
It
make
would
this
be-
awkward. We're both literally heading in the same direction. It would be very odd for me just to be walking alongside the road at a distance. We've had such a pleasant time together. Why'd have it end to such a random sequence of events as whose business is on what?
Oh, give me will, negotiation, and seduction.
What will
And
you
beat a
do
3.
alone out there in the woods,
Well,
bored?
also, I guess fast talk.
Yeah.
It would be a shame if I was not able to beat a 3.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She gives an exaggerated sigh and says, "Well, I cannot prevent you from walking in the same direction, I suppose. But I'll have you know that going forward, I will be completely dedicated to my mission. And although I do enjoy your company, sir, it is until this task has been concluded. I have no further use for you beyond your conversational skills."
Does that include everything with the mouth, or just...
I've never met a noble so loose-lipped.
Well, you enjoyed it last night.
Yup. She does not know what to make of all this. But yeah, she'll shrug and say, "We set out within the hour. You're welcome to join if you can keep up. Oh, but I will warn you, please, stay far away from my prisoner."
It means nothing to me.
Good.
Right.
I just felt it had to be said.
I assume you also mean... Look, words unsaid, right? Stay away from your prisoner. Stay away from the sword. I'm also going to throw out there that you probably meant to say, but have yet to have said it.
The sword is among their possessions, but is kind of...
Well, one would have
Hidden.
hoped you had removed their possessions from their possessing them.
I mean, yeah, no, the sword is in and among her, like, whole caravan, but it's hidden within
At that
their
point,
supplies.
Are they really possessions if you don't possess them?
I guess they wouldn't be. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I'm sorry.
Then let's go ahead and shift it towards Gar.
Oh,
The
it's
doctor
always...
is definitely.
I was already with Gar. We were in the midst of Gar.
Well, more Gar here. I want to throw at you. So
I was
Gar,
literally having a conversation with Calpurnia.
it got distracted apparently.
But yeah, we can't shift further into Gar when I was so in character. I was having a conversation.
Are you done with it?
I don't know. Calpurnia seems to have stopped talking.
Yeah, no. Calpurnia has gone to set about for their departure.
All right. So Gar, I've gone ahead and at least told your crew what I'm up to, what I'm doing, and the information about the other Baron. And hopefully, when you talk to them, you'll understand where the doctor is, what his plan is, where he's going, and what he wants to do. So if you want to send him back a message like, "Don't come and join the group because you're hanging out with Calpurnia,"
Yeah, no,
or
I
if you
think
want to send some particular people to hang
the
out with him,
unexpected response would be that my entire crew shows up where you told them to.
Mhm.
Without Gar.
Okay, so I guess the question is, how are we traveling?
Well,
Is what we're gonna figure out.
except for the 2 bodyguards in winter. Those 2
Yeah.
stay with Gar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have most of the rest of the irregulars. I have Lily with me, and I'm basically leading that group forward. Um, I guess then the question is, are you interested in talking to this local baron and seeing if he can do anything about this?
Right. Baron
About what?
Latharna.
Latharna. It's her territory out there. She doesn't seem to know what's going on, and may offer some
I'm
assistance in
sorry,
dealing
where
with
is
this.
Baron Latharna's territory?
The Muir Forest.
Oh, okay, I was confused because I was like, we're still in Ashton Bennett's territory.
Yeah. She's dealing with the disappearing peasants in the forest.
Well, I mean, are we just fast forwarding to get there, or is this why
Well,
you
it
brought up
depends, right?
temporality?
Yeah, this is me asking about if we're making this stop over here to do this thing, or if we're going to not do that and go straight to the
Well,
forest.
since I'm traveling in the company of NPC, and that NPC is controlling where and when they're arriving at places, I'm really beholden to whenever or wherever they go. So I'm not really at the ability to say, yes, I'll talk to them, because I don't know if we're getting there or not.
And I
Right.
suppose, Gar, in your mind, with your plan, do you think this is something that I should stop and go do, and then try to rush to reconvene with you?
I mean,
I will.
it's more than likely that you should be the one to do it, because I don't know if I'm arriving there. I don't have, like, an itinerary, because I'm not actually part of the group that I'm traveling in. But at the same time, she could be heading right for the Mere Forest. I have no idea.
So you don't know. We're on a schedule, and she's already heading straight there. We probably need to not delay, so the doctor will choose not to delay.
I said she could be. I don't know.
Yeah, so you guys don't know what Calpurnia's route is going to be. You also don't have Anushka with you, or operating under that assumption, which
Right.
means that you don't necessarily. I would say Anushka would probably know the exact address, or could figure out the exact address of this baron, and how to get there. But you don't have that kind of navigational stuff. So if you wanted to try to get to this baron first, and then meet up with the rest of the group before they made it to the necromantic circle, that's going to be some rolls to do it. And you'll take penalties for things like not knowing exactly where you're going, or how long it's going to take to get there.
Let's do like a geography kind of test, right? The same thing we would do with Anushka here, and see, is there a plan where the doctor can do this fast enough that he won't lose a whole bunch of ground?
Right.
So I guess that would probably be mind.
It would certainly be mind.
It would probably be academics.
I think academics is the closest thing that fits here. It's a
And
knowledge
it
of
would
an
be
area,
geography.
if you have it.
I do.
Oh, okay then.
Did I write it down, actually? I'm pretty sure I should have. Yep, there we go.
So remember, if you didn't write it down, you don't.
No, terrible. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna add my pacifism into this, and nope, I think that is probably all the things that matter here.
Calvoria could help you if you want, since they're with you.
I'm rolling a D8 difficulty.
That is possible, however.
Jesus, it didn't matter.
Successes.
I rolled multiple 10s.
I learned well from Anishka.
I only brought it up because they're a team player, because I could give you a D12.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll just roll another D12.
Jesus, 5 successes. Okay. Yeah. Not only do you know where the Baron resides, you know that there's a shortcut that you can take to get there. I'm gonna drop them on the map, so this seems at all feasible. If you, it appears that Calpurnia. Well, hold on. Let's stop making assumptions. Let's draw something here. Okay. That's a little far out, actually. I'm going to put a little bit here. So yes, you understand that like most travelers are going to take the Via Salutis, right? And then head south. But if you cut directly across through the wilderness and you make your endurance rolls, you could get there. You could shave a few days off of your trip, and you could get there to the Baron's castle. I don't know what exactly they have out there, but yeah, to their stronghold first, and still potentially be ahead of Calpurnia's unit if they're taking the Via Salutis.
All right, so all I have to do is get there without getting exhausted. I have a D4 endurance now.
Hey,
Thanks to that knack gift I haven't sold back yet.
hiking time. Let's endurance. So yeah, you could do. Yep, body and endurance to march for long distances. Who are you taking with you?
I believe it is Lily, who is professional soldier and probably knows the area in general.
That's true. You can give her she can take a D12 local knowledge for this.
Do soldiers have endurance, Connor?
They must. That makes too much sense. Soldier. Well, they do have hiking. The
Oh,
gift.
hiking will definitely help. I think I have hiking, actually. Yeah, there we go.
You have
That'll
hiking?
help out.
But they don't have natural endurance dice. I'm gonna check to make sure rabbits don't. I don't think they do.
No, they might not.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so I do have a fair bit of things here. So at least on my own roll, I will have a success.
Oh, we use D8s.
Yeah, I think we said D8s, right, for Lily?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's, of course, the entourage. If we want to
The
go and roll.
entourage.
No, you said you weren't bringing the entourage.
Oh, I thought you said you weren't bringing your entourage.
No, he said, who are you bringing? And you said Lily, and that was it.
Oh.
Well,
I assumed that they're with us. After our conversation. That was my assumption.
Lily was not the exhaustive list. I mean, it's up to you. You don't have to bring them, but then they're not going to be there for whatever you find in the forest. Because they're not traveling
I will
with Gar.
attempt to bring them. If they fall behind, they fall behind right now.
What's the roll?
Body endurance. If any of them have hiking, that's a bonus D12. And anyone who falls behind gets left behind.
This is Orpha. Orpha
The law
falls
of the
behind.
desert.
This is pretty Carmeline. Almost falls behind.
Good ones, good ones.
Endurance, you said, right?
Yes.
Alright, this is Dalmarina. So many ones. This is the Nokius, the Born Again.
Nice.
This is one of those ones where you can aid somebody by sacrificing a success.
We each only have one, so...
No, is this...
Yeah, right.
before.
Normally when we're doing hiking, that is an option, right? So, yeah, we can do that. We can spread the love.
Nokius will sacrifice one to Orpha.
Orpha, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrifice another one for Orpha. Oh, wait, you can only help once, right?
Right.
Let's see. This is now down to Jackie. What was something else? Hiking. Oh, hiking is 12.
Not the best hike this crew has ever gone on.
Well, these are people that all have skill. Skill or hiking.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Jackie. This
That's
is Taria.
us.
Got 2 people down so far.
Right.
So far, Daria and Orpha haven't made it. Merlina and the Leadfoot of Merlina are with me. Calvoria. Calvoria, no endurance. No hiking. It's 3 people down. Panphilia. Pamphylia does not have it.
Pamphylia.
4 people down. And now for Rut.
You just get like a whole horde of pennies and just flip them all at once.
Right.
4 people down. That was a hiking and endurance.
Oh, man.
So,
Yeah, wow.
Rut, Pamphylia, Clavoria.
Was Daria the other one? And Orpha.
Orpha.
Okay, so
a substantial amount of the crew has fallen behind. They're at least not in terrible mortal danger for it, unlike other times we've had this happen. But it does mean that they're not with me as I'm trying to do things.
It's an ungodly number of ones.
that's a lot of ones. Okay. So, as you approach the outskirts of the Mirror Forest. You approach the outskirts. You can see that the ground here shows signs of clearing for timber, and yet the heart of the forest, or the deepest part of the forest, you can see the canopy rising, enormous trees rising into the distance. Seeming to resist the clearing efforts of the Bisclavaret. I guess they're not really clearing efforts, they are lumber efforts. They're using the resources. But among the cleared areas, you can see there is a stronghold that has been constructed, a modest-sized castle bearing the colors of that whom you seek, the Baroness Latharna. You guys are not traveling with any... Well, I guess you're traveling under... If Lily's there, you probably have the banner of the Baron.
That would make sense, yeah. She has their authority in some way.
Right. And as such, you will be granted an audience. The Baroness is a cat who will agree to meet you, but she is in the process of having a heated argument with one of her underlings about the resources that are being spent to mollify the townsfolk. She says, I don't care about their superstitions. We've sent out men, haven't we? We will hear back when we hear back. In the meantime, tell them to get back to work. I still own this land, don't I? And then she fixes her attention onto you. She fixes her attention onto Lily. She says, yes. What is it? You bring word from Lord Ashton. I'm quite busy, so please make it brief.
And this would be where Arcloyd, you could probably do that as Lily, or you could just pass the baton over to me.
So, like I said, I don't know much about Lily's motivation and whatnot, so I don't know how to roleplay the character that well.
Adventure, challenge,
I know.
authority.
It's not... Yeah, it's not a...
Grumpiness.
I'm not going to...
You just create a character wholesale.
Yeah, I'm not gonna step on your toes if you...
She's actually a conniving bitch who's out to get power by any means necessary. She's a woman of wanton lust who only desires a man of true power.
Like the doctor. Sure, why not? I mean, she was introduced as a jerk who was evicting Doloro, and then she was convinced of the holy power of the light, and then she joined you on an expedition to destroy a necromancer. So she's kind of exhibited all possible character traits. So there's really almost no wrong answers here. So just go with it. Go with your gut.
After my little protestation that didn't work out that well, but I'm glad it didn't. what was the situation we're in again, so I can do this properly? I'm sorry.
No,
I
not a
should know
problem.
this, but my memory sucks.
It's okay. And you're also kind of been somewhat sidelined this session, so I do not blame you at all. So the situation is that you and the doctor and a number of Adris's retinue that could keep up with you on the overland hike have made it to the Baron Latharna's strongholds on the edge of the Mirror Forest. I'm going to keep calling it the Mirror Forest. It's just easier for me. And basically, she has been dealing with disappearances of her peasants in the region, and you guys suspect that this has to do with the Necromantic Circle and Amalsand. So you're going there to get more information from her about this. But when you enter the chamber, you see that she seems to be quite short-tempered, and that she's already... it seems that she's being harassed by concerns from the peasants who are superstitious that their townsfolk are disappearing and don't want to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Lily's just a soldier.
It's true.
And I'm very sorry, but I'm drawing a blank as to how anyone would react to this.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, to give you like the easy out, you could definitely say like, "I am here. I am one of Lord Ashton's men, and I have brought assistance to what I have heard is a delicate situation here." And then you point to the doctor.
Yep. All right then. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I understand.
It's a brand new character, and it's kind of a tense circumstance. So, Latharna will then fix her gaze on you and Doctor, and glance you over, and then realizing that you don't seem to be any kind of nobility, she'll just shift her gaze away. She will look out the very nice glass window out onto the
Right.
towards
She's
the
listening,
wood.
but she's looking elsewhere.
Exactly. She would rather not be bothered by your visage. But yeah, she says, very well. As I said before, please make it brief.
Of course. My lady, I come here only as a humble servant of the Light of Salomere. I've heard of the troubles here, and I have both knowledge of its source and of its solution.
Is this true? I could use solutions. Less whining, more action. So spit it out. What is the solution?
Indeed. The solution is, of course, the Holy Light, because the problem is the vile dead that have risen again at the behest of a dark master. Of this is an issue of great concern which I have studied long and hard, and I know very well what dangers await out in that forest, and that they have caused this specifically. If you were to look to the east, this has happened before in another domain, and has rent it asunder. Perhaps you heard of the recent court in Triskellion, where they had, in fact, brought it to everyone's attention.
Marcade. Yes, news of that has reached us here. It does seem to be fashionable these days to blame everyone's woes on the Walking Dead. However, well,
if it is not the Walking Dead that is your concern, I do understand. Such is what I am have to be concerned about. But of your concern, you should be worried about usurpers like the Marquis, of someone who is in your territory, raising forces, and undoubtedly will use them to intimidate, or force you to surrender, or simply destroy you. And that, I think, is where we do align, for I would not wish a noble lady such as yourself to reach such an ill fate.
yes, your words do seem to reach her. Her eyes are flashing back and forth as she considers the your implication, and she'll give you a sharp nod and say, Very well. And, I assume you come here seeking assistance. What is it that I can provide?
That is correct. I do have my entourage here, but their skills are not quite as swordsmen. You, however, are a lady of means, and undoubtedly have guards and soldiers that you could offer to this endeavor. It would be under your authority, and of course I have brought one of Sir Ashton's first and foremost captains here as proof of my own honesty and good intent if I were to accompany your forces into the woods to deal with this problem.
Well, it's true. Ashton is an agreeable sort, and I do trust his intuition when it comes to commoners such as yourself. Well, the difficulty there is that my men are already preoccupied securing the towns and assuring the small folk that that there is no danger to them. I could pull several of my own guard away for this purpose. Probably no more than 3, however. I do have my own affairs to look after as well. I would lend more, but as you say, the fears of the population are such that, well, they need to be attended to. They are superstitious, you understand, and...
Indeed. They need reassurances in these trying times, and I understand the difficulties you must be under. I'm honored that you would give me your assistance, my lady.
Do you have etiquette? I just have to ask.
I do. That's why I'm playing it up.
This is some good etiquette. You know what? You've set the stage for a really nice juicy roll, and I think I want to actually. Well, it's up to you. I think you could probably wrote this. But yeah, you've done good work here. So she's going to. Yeah, she says, "Well, you would be doing a great service to this region if you were to investigate these disappearances. I can lend you, as I said, 3 of my own personal guard, the best trained and most highly skilled in all of Calabria. However, again, because of the concerns of the people, I'm not sure if I can offer more than that.
Of course.
That's what a rote will get you."
Okay. I'll probably stick with the rote. I think having at least a good handful of specifically trained swordsmen would be good. I'll say, like, I have traveled with such swordsmen before, and it is an honor to have your guard with me.
Okay. She says, "Very well. I will expect your report as soon as you are able. And I wish you good fortune. Yeah.
Yes, with the light upon us, perhaps we shall see victory and report such victoriously."
Indeed, and my prayers will go with you as well. So, these guys, she says that they're the best in the land. That's probably not true, but they are D8 soldiers. They're
Best
wolves.
in the general area.
Yeah, she flatters herself, but as do
Within
most
the
lords.
tri-state area.
Yeah. Exactly. Best you get from, the community colleges, so...
Hey, no, this is good. We have a bunch of D8 characters. Lily, I will probably turn to Lily and say, like, the soldiers are yours to command. I will do my best to support you and your entourage. And I suppose with that, we do have our goal, we have our assistance, we kind of know where we're going. And given that we're here, we could probably also pick up the local gossip of like, yeah, here, where disappearances happened, and oh yeah, there's that spooky tower out in the woods, but I don't think it means anything.
Pretty much. If you'd like to give me a gossip roll,
this
you're
would
more than
be
welcome.
like a gossip or an inquiry, I suppose. Both do work out here.
We'll say I think this is almost to the letter gossip. If you wanted to further interrogate, I feel like inquiry is like if someone's hiding things from you and you're trying to get out a lie.
Yeah, that's fair. So mind, gossip, and is there anything that actually applies to that? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't have much for gossip gifts. That's all Gar. So I'll roll 3 dice. That is 3 successes.
Nice.
Here's
Okay.
what I pick up just talking with people real quick.
Yeah. Just chatting them up. So here's what you know. You know that there is a place deep in the woods that is cursed that no tracker or hunter will venture into because of the horrible things that they have seen there. You know that there's probably a dozen or more villagers in the region that have gone missing, and you take special note of the fact that many of them are rabbits or other people with digging ability. You're not sure why, but that is a pattern that stands out to you.
It's fascinating for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else important. You hear one tale of a tracker who was going through well-trod territory when he came across a horrific sight. A large armored individual wearing it looks like black plate mail and wielding a black metal sword was in the process of slaying a beast. It was one of the raptors, essentially. But the thing died horribly, screaming, and this tracker was sure that he saw the soul of the beast ripped from its body and devoured by this cursed unholy weapon that was being wielded by this individual.
Out of character, I'd say, like, it is hilarious to think, like, oh yeah, the tracker says they saw the soul leaving the body. It's like, so the tracker was definitely trained in supernatural, right?
I guess, right? That might be a little bit
wouldn't be
Which
too much.
informs me immediately that this is probably a tall tale of some descriptor, but it is gossip, and it is exactly the kind of story someone would be telling me right now.
It wouldn't be supernatural to see a spirit leave a body because it's not magic.
Yeah, I guess that it all depends. It's all wibbly wobbly.
I
just found it funny.
A blessed using their powers might be able to see a spirit leaving a body, though. So
it's implied that that some of the supernatural stuff is visible to the common person. I mean, you guys saw the shade, and that's supernatural. So but right. If it's
a shade and a ghost, though, are two different things.
They're different flavors of supernatural.
Arguably,
still funny, I still love it.
Arguably, I think the doctor would also believe that the spirit and a ghost are two different things.
Probably, but yeah, that's the
There's
word.
A lot of degrees going on here, that's for sure.
Your answer to this should be, that's an ecumenical matter.
Exactly. Not for us to determine. Or
it's for me to determine.
Yeah.
Well, from a real-life perspective, a spirit and a ghost are two different things.
Alright, so this deadly swordsman is definitely concerning because we have in fact seen that very same type of sword and swordsman before. So this is definitely very pertinent information to tell our local party between all of the tagger-ons that we have right now. Like, this is very dangerous. Be very careful. You should probably be on your most defensive, and maybe I can deal with them from a distance.
Right, yeah.
I'm trying to remember who actually got the killing blow on the last one.
I want to say it was Connor.
It was probably Connor.
I remember him dying solidly. I feel like he got a massive hit on the thing.
My guys were rushing into the room and taking care of the totem pillar things, so
right.
It wasn't us.
Yeah. Doctor, once again, shaking at the idea of, like, alright, there's a Connor-level combatant here, we don't have a Connor. Same as back when I was looking at a Harmon-level combatant, and I didn't have a Harmon.
Are we sure it wasn't Anushka from a window?
No, because it was underground. We entered through a tunnel.
You know, to a tower.
She later went to a window.
To a tower that was above ground. We beat the guy in the tower. third
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, did he climb the tower?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
trying to
No,
remember.
that guy stayed at the lower level. The one I'm thinking of, anyway.
the one I'm thinking of, the guy who had the sword, I believe Anushka flew into a window and shot him.
That may have just been the necromancer.
I thought the necromancer was the one who had the sword.
Nope, 2 different people.
Necromancer had the sword. He was like shadowed by 2 other dudes that were his like
The
bodyguards.
blackguard that had the sword.
Yeah,
Never left downstairs.
the
The,
necromancer was also the noble, I thought.
The necromancer was the noble. Yeah, he
He
had
did
one
have
of
more
these
honor
black.
guard, and at least one of his
knights.
honor guards survived.
Right. Or did Anushka
Yeah.
fly and kill his honor guard beside him, which made him surrender? We fought him twice, remember? I'm talking
Mhm.
about the first time, where he
Yeah.
surrendered and eventually got loose, and we had to fight him
Yeah.
again.
But that's an unrelated. Yeah, that was not the character with the sword. The Black Knight with the sword did die.
All right. But I'm
And I
definitely
don't.
telling
I
our
think you guys
crew,
buried
be
the
very
sword.
careful of this individual.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think as you are
Oh,
wrapping
man,
up that-
Connor, you went the wrong place. Can you imagine dual wielding both the Rinaldi sword and
and a cursed sword.
I couldn't remember the name for a second.
Amakana,
No,
Aramon Kayla.
no.
No. That's two-handed.
I'm not even
Mayor
going.
Russo?
I'm not even going deep in lore. I'm trying to remember the World of Warcraft sword.
Oh, Frostmourne.
Frostmourne, yeah.
Mm.
I couldn't. I was like, okay, there's like Blackguard and all the other, the ones that are all based off of that one book. I couldn't remember Frostmourne Hungers.
I don't even
Oh,
play that
gosh.
game. I knew that.
It's alright, you ready to run the World of Warcraft game?
Yeah. Right. This is my biggest nerd blind spot in pop culture is never having played World of Warcraft. I had my fill of MMOs with EverQuest, and I didn't play much of that either. So I was basically like checked out. But yeah, WoW has, and I never played the Warcraft games either, like the RTS games. So
Oh,
I
played,
have
like,
no frame of reference.
God, I played like the 1 and 2 like for ages as a kid.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, if StarCraft, which I did play a lot of, has any indication, then the
Same.
WoW lore is basically just all of genre fiction in that genre mashed together and then squeezed out into a real pulpy, like comic booky paste. So I buy that based on what I've heard. I
probably
have
go
friends who
over,
really
like,
like it.
even this far out, I could probably still go back over the story of Warcraft 1 and 2, but I should
Mm.
probably play the game.
Yeah, we should play. So you guys see that headed south from the direction of the Via Salutis, you can see the Calpurnia and her guard, and a caged wagon with a shivering gray fox, all in manacles, dragged behind her, approaches the stronghold. And yeah, it's easy enough to make yourself scarce. So you can see that Adris and his personal bodyguard are still traveling with them. And it appears that the whole caravan intends to camp here for the night and then set out in the morning.
Good, we can get ahead of them still. Perfect.
It's true, if you'd like to.
I think so. Guard's doing
Okay.
exactly what Guard needs to do here. Keep her busy.
All right, then. In that case, you guys are going to set out ahead of Calpurnia and her unit into the forest.
Yes. Haunted woods.
Okay.
I put on the goggles.
You brought the goggles with you this
I
whole
still got
time.
them. They're my one true possession right now.
Okay.
The doctor will actually take a moment, look at these goggles, and think, wait, were we supposed to return these? Well, guess they're mine now.
Oops. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. Let me think, because I just talked myself into a corner now. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually 12 o'clock. Do you guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute break, everybody.
All right.
Okay, be right back.